The Maelstrom's Edge video rulebook is a series designed to be viewed in order. Watching these videos out of order may result in some confusion. Welcome back everyone. For this next series of videos, we're going to delve right into movement and terrain, covering exactly how you go about moving your models in Maelstrom's Edge, and how terrain can affect that movement. In this video, we'll start with the basics of movement. Models always fight as part of a unit. While some units never have more than a single model, like this hunter, most units are comprised of several different models, like all these over here. When a unit performs an action that allows it to move, it will specify whether they get to make either a single or a double move. A single move means each model can be moved a number of inches up to its move characteristic. For a double move, that naturally increases to double the model's move characteristic. For example, contractors are lightly armoured, so have a pretty high move of 7, as you can see here on their unit card. That means when they make a single move, they move up to 7 inches, or for a double move, up to 14 inches. Always measure movement along the path the model actually moves, not just a straight line between where it starts and ends. For example, if this contractor is starting his move over here and ending it back here, then you need to measure the distance curving around the building like this, not just a straight line between the 2 points. You're free to move models over terrain without any kind of penalty as long as that terrain is less than 2 inches tall. If the terrain is 2 inches or taller, it's referred to as vertical terrain, and in that case, the height of the terrain, straight up and down, is counted. For example, this contractor can move without issue over these barrels, as they're all less than 2 inches tall. But say you wanted to move him up onto this hill, which is exactly 2 inches tall. In that case, his normal 7-inch move would be reduced down to 5 inches, representing the extra effort it takes him to climb up the hill. Or let's say the contractor was making a 14-inch double move, but wanted to move completely over this hill. That would cost him 4 inches total, 2 inches to go up and 2 inches to go back down again, which means he'd have 10 inches of movement left. Like so. Every time you move a unit, it needs to remain in coherency. That means all the models in the unit must remain within 3 inches of their squad leader. The squad leader always needs to be clearly designated. For example, we know this Quintarch is the squad leader, as he's the only model in the unit not wearing a helmet. Or instead, you could just mark your squad leader with a token. But if you do that, just make sure you always remember to move the token along with the squad leader. Let's say this Karist trooper unit has just finished moving. But see, this one trooper is more than 3 inches away from the Quintarch, which means the unit is out of coherency and could not end their move like that. Instead, the trooper would need to finish his move somewhere over here. When a unit has some of its models up on vertical terrain, like this trooper up here on the hill, then besides checking the usual 3-inch coherency from up above the models, you also need to make sure they're all within 6 inches vertically of the squad leader as well, which these guys clearly still are. Note that any time you need to measure between two models, use the closest edge of their bases to each other, so like from here to here, for example. Another thing you have to consider when moving your unit is which direction they're going to end up facing. You see, a unit's facing makes a big difference in Maelstrom's Edge, as it dictates where your unit will be able to shoot effectively and where it's dangerous for the enemy to be behind you. The only model that matters for a unit's facing is its squad leader, so that's the one you really need to pay attention to when you finish moving. This Quintarch, as you can see, has little notches on either side of his base, which helps identify the model's front and rear arcs. So if the Quintarch was facing this direction, then the unit's front arc is this area here, and its rear arc is this area here. Now, if at least half of these contractors get even partially within the Quintarch's rear arc, that means they're also in the unit's rear arc, which wouldn't be good news for these troopers. Although the squad leader's facing is the only one that matters, to make it easier for your opponent at a glance, all the models in a unit need to face the same direction as their squad leader, but don't get too hung up on this. Just keep an eye out during the game, and if you spot 1 or 2 models that aren't facing the same direction as the squad leader, just pivot them to match, like so. Thanks for watching, and make sure to check out our next video where we'll continue to look at movement and terrain, this time focusing on the basics of terrain.